When I'm streaming Call of the Wild or Way of the Hunter, the most frequently asked question I get is, Ninja, which one do you like better? Call of the Wild or Way of the Hunter? So guess what, my little hunting nerds? We're gonna do some comparisons today. Sup, nerds? How you doing? Way of the Hunter and Call of the Wild are two completely different hunting games. It honestly depends on what you feel like playing that day or what you don't. I honestly just kind of compare it to whether I feel like having an apple that day or an orange that day. Do I want to bother peeling that orange today? I'd rather bite into a nice, crisp, crunchy apple. However, because they are both hunting games, they are both going to have some things that are very similar. So today I'm going to compare 7 things that both Call of the Wild and Way of the Hunter do in their games, but I'm going to decide which one I think does it better. Number 1 is the story or / missions in each game. Now, Call of the Wild has missions on every single map that they have. Personally, I feel that the best mission stories are going to be on New England Mountains, Medved Taiga, and Tia Aurora. Just to name a few, but those were my favorites. Way of the Hunter also has main storylines on just about every single one of their maps. However, Way of the Hunter is definitely going to win this in my heart because their stories are so immersive. Just alone talking about Nez Perce Valley, which is the first map that you get with the game, the story is incredible. There are cutscenes. There are comics that you earn throughout the game and progressing in the story. I absolutely love it. Aurora Shores and Tikamoon Plains are 2 maps as well that if you want a story that is sit on the edge of your seat, go for that. I found myself so immersed in what was going on that sometimes I kind of forgot I was playing a hunting game. Some people may not like that in a hunting game, and that's totally okay. So maybe you would prefer Call of the Wild because their stories to me are just not as immersive. There's no cutscenes. However, in Hirschfelden, Tia Aurora, and Medved, there are rare animals that you can get from doing the story missions. So if you want an immersive story experience and that is your thing in those kinds of games, Way of the Hunter is completely the way to go. Number 2 is going to be the scopes on the guns. Now, personally, I feel like this is kind of a toss-up. I feel like this is kind of dependent on what everybody enjoys. For me, Way of the Hunter also takes first place in my heart with this because of the zeroing. It shows you how far away directly you are from the animal, which is absolutely phenomenal. It is so much easier to zoom in and zoom out. You can't change your reticles in Way of the Hunter like you can in Call of the Wild, which I think is totally okay because the zeroing abilities in Way of the Hunter is just fantastic. And on the best scopes that you can get, you really don't have to worry about the fact that you can't change the reticle. It's just great the way it is. Call of the Wild is completely simple because now, well, you may be able to have the zeroing if you have the zeroing perk that shows you in the bottom right hand corner. There are no numbers, no zeroing, no indication of how truly far away or close you are from the animal you're going to shoot. There's just nothing. If you like that simplicity, great. There are many things with Way of the Hunter that is much more realistic than Call of the Wild, and Way of the Hunter totally by far knocks that one out of the park. Number 3 is going to be transport. Once again, Way of the Hunter, first place. Call of the Wild only has 1 transport vehicle, which is the ATV. Now, for the most part, this works great with getting around, and I really do appreciate it because I'm just glad to have something to be able to get around with. With Way of the Hunter, what I absolutely love about it is that it has multiple different vehicles. There is a DLC that you can get where you can get better UTV vehicles, but there is one that you can unlock in the game, and I think it works just great. Number 4 is going to be the animal behaviors and characteristics. Now, if we're going for realism here, Way of the Hunter once again takes first place for me because the animals, to me, they make me laugh a lot because they act so real. With Call of the Wild, I think that they look great when they move around. That's not a problem for me, but the thing with Way of the Hunter is that they do different things. They'll walk around, they'll stand up, they'll lay down, they'll sit there forever. You don't know what they're gonna do, and when they know that something's there and there's a noise, all of them stop and stare at you. Sometimes it's really creepy. And the way that their ears wiggle and all that stuff, I mean, I just think it's really realistic, and it's much more interesting for me because I don't know how they're gonna react. It feels like they are real. With Call of the Wild, I think they move wonderful. It's not a matter of graphics or the fact that they don't look good. They look wonderful, but they don't really act that realistic to me. You can kind of gauge after you've been playing the game for quite a while that they have specific things that they do when they move. It doesn't feel like it's going to be a surprise of what they do. And when they spook, they don't really look at you. They just get alerted and run away. Number 5 is going to be the collars in the game. Honestly, this is a really hard decision for me to make because I think that they both implement things really, really well. However, Way of the Hunter, I think their collars are better just by a little bit. What's really cool to me is that you can call specific animals in, whether they're high level fitness or low level fitness. It just kind of depends what you're after. There are skills that you can earn to make the collars better in Way of the Hunter throughout the game, but there also is the electric collar that you can get in a DLC, just like Call of the Wild, where you can call pretty much every animal on the map, and I think that's awesome. Some of the collars in Way of the Hunter sound much more realistic than the collars in Call of the Wild, and that's just a personal preference, but again, it's not that I dislike one or I dislike the other. I just kind of think I like Way of the Hunter's implementation better on that. Number 6 is gonna be the maps, and Call of the Wild, they've got this one down. Way of the Hunter's maps are absolutely beautiful, but when I got into the game, there's still is something about the element of beauty that just doesn't push it over the edge like Call of the Wild does. The main map that I want to talk about is New England Mountains. Now, if you haven't gotten this map, you should, because when I first started playing this map last year for the first time, I was just enjoying being on it because of how beautiful it was with the fall colors. Maybe you don't like fall that much, but the red is just fire red. I love that map. The beauty of the maps in Call of the Wild are so gorgeous. Specifically, some of my absolute favorite personal ones are New England Mountains, Medved Taiga because of the winter aesthetic, and that's just the winter map. A ski ridge, and one of the big reasons is because of the northern lights that you see at night. And another one that I absolutely love is Salswiesen Park. It being a small map, it's beautiful. I love the wind turbines. I just love it. So beautiful. Way of the Hunter's maps are gorgeous too. It's just, there's something about it that just doesn't do it for me what Call of the Wild does. I would love in the future to see a winter map in Way of the Hunter and to implement snow. I think that sounds really amazing, and maybe we'll get that in the future. And number 7, the last but definitely not the least, is the Outposts, or shall we say lodges. Now, with Call of the Wild has specific lodges that you get in DLC. You get one lodge in the base game, but unfortunately you can only put specific animals on those specific mountains. Those of us that hunt like mad people, we're out of room, and that poses major issues. But in the maps, there are many outposts that you can travel to. What's great is that you can fast travel to them and you can sleep in them most of the time. You have that exact same thing in Way of the Hunter, where you can travel to the outposts and you can sleep in them. What's really cool though is that there's also parking spots that you can travel to as well in Way of the Hunter. Way of the Hunter though does this better, and the one reason for that is because you can put mounts in every single outpost. There are multiple outposts that you can access throughout different parts of the maps in Way of the Hunter. Every single lodge has the ability to put mounts in there. So you don't have one specific lodge that you can put mounts in. You can put them all over the area in that region. I think that's really cool, and I'm glad that they implement that because it is really fun to me to be able to go to a specific map like Tikamoon Plains and be like, oh, this is where all my African animals are. While I do love the ability to be able to put whatever animals I want in whatever lodge I want with Call of the Wild, we're running out of space. I know what you're thinking at this point, and you're thinking, well, Ninja, Way of the Hunter has a lot more wins in this list than Call of the Wild. I will just say this out loud that yes, I have found myself desiring to play Way of the Hunter much, much more lately, especially with that amazing demo for the sequel game that just came out. Now, that does not mean that I dislike Call of the Wild. So all you people out there that are gonna try to twist my words around and say in the live stream, no, but Ninja said that she doesn't like Call of the Wild anymore. That's not what I'm saying. Read my words. Call of the Wild means so much to me. That game started my streaming channel. I've just been really disappointed in some of the developers' choices lately with some of the DLCs and different things they're doing in the game. It's just been really frustrating to me. It feels like sometimes that they don't listen to the community and they don't care as much about it. Ultimately, I feel like the reason why I completely fell in love with Way of the Hunter is because it feels so much like a Cabela's hunting game, and I used to play those so much as a child. Call of the Wild just doesn't have that effect on me, and that's okay. The last thing I want to call to your attention that you maybe have not thought about, if you watch these amazing streamers like Lady Legend, Flinter, Chopper, guess what all these streamers are doing? Grinding for what everyone wants, which is our next great one. Now, that's not a bad thing by any means, because I do it too. But if you think about it, honestly, grinding for great ones is kind of on the edge of insanity. Honestly, it really is. As much as it is totally worth grinding for a great one, I feel like to an extent, it takes away an element to Call of the Wild. As much as it's totally worth grinding for great ones in Call of the Wild, I feel like it takes the hunting element away from the game. Thing is with that is that if I want that diamond that I don't have, I don't really have to go look for it. All I gotta do is set up a grind for it. It'll spawn in eventually. I don't have to go looking for it anymore. Overall, I love both of these games. They both, again, like I said before, serve a totally different purpose. It depends on what you feel like playing. What Call of the Wild has become to me, which I don't think is a bad thing, it's become a game that I want to grind for great ones. But do you agree with me? What do you think about some of these things that I brought up? What are some things that you like or dislike about either of the games? Tell me in the comments below. I'd like to know. So if you liked this video and you want to see more, if you would kindly get your favorite caller out from either game and call that subscribe button in and then just smash it. That would be great for me and I would so appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys in the next video.